Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and as you'll see, autumn is beginning to set in. It's only near the beginning of September, but already there's that cold nip in the air. But there's still plenty of things to do in the garden, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig up some seedlings, or what we know as volunteers, and pot them up for use in a new border in springtime. Well, it's been a very hard year for the garden, and we had a lot of snow in winter, and then we had a really hot summer, and the result of that is that a lot of plants that wouldn't normally run have run. Now what we're looking at is Tetrapanax rex, and what we're looking at is a volunteer, a runner from the main plant, which is, if we go over here, and I'll just show you, there, all the way over there. Okay, so I mean this is a plant that runs anyway, and it wouldn't take a lot of snow and drought for it to happen here, but this is one that we're going to dig up now, this plant here, put in a pot, and then next year I'm going to plant it at the back of a border. Now Tetrapanax is a wonderful plant, and even though it can be a bit of a pain with its running, the runners are very easy to pick out. You can just pull them out and that's the end of them. But in this case we want to keep it, so we're going to dig this one up. Okay, so here we go, and here's T-Rex, and here's a good spade for lifting it out. Now when you do this, try and get as much of the root ball as you possibly can, and we're just going to go down like that, and out it comes. Now when I lift this up, what I'm going to find is a runner. Well, I didn't find a runner, but that seems to be the root of the plant. Now what's happened here is it's actually sprung up in the middle of something else, so I'm going to have to remove that something else. Okay, and there we go. And you can see there isn't a whole lot of root left here. Now what I find really handy in this case, for Tetrapanax anyway, is to just pop it into a bucket of water, and that just keeps the roots hydrated until I get a chance to put it in the pot. Alright, time to find another one. And here's another Tetrapanax, one that's seeded itself in here. Just getting under it. Now I can actually feel the runner on this one. When I pull it, it wants to run over that way, and I'm actually just going to pull. So what I've done is I've broken this point here where it was attached to the parent plant. And this is what, generally speaking, you're left with when you dig up Tetrapanax volunteers. Very little root. So we're going to pop that one into the bucket too. And here we have some small Tetrapanax. Now this is just annual Alstroemeria, so I'll just pull it out like that. And even though these are small, I'm going to try and get as much of the root as possible by getting underneath it. And I can see that this one is attached. You see, I've dug all that up, but still it's done the plant no good. It's still attached by a runner to the parent plant. So I'm going to try and get as much of that runner up as possible, and that's it. Okay, so basically this is what we're left with. And we'll pot that up and see if we can manage it. And one last one here, a tiny little one down here. Now Alright, now that is not going to work at all. That's just too small, just to show you. There's not enough of a root or a runner there left to do anything with. So let's pop the other one here into the bucket and let's get on with potting them up. And here's what happens when you get a larger plant. Look at the size of this. Now that's got good roots, and I imagine that's going to take quite well. So you just pop that in the bucket, keep those roots hydrated for as long as possible. So now we're going to pot up these plants, and I think a good one to start with is the really big guy here, which we'll manoeuvre out of the bucket. You need to come in a bit closer. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of a lot of these excess leaves, because Tetrapanax leaves really droop quite badly. If you pot it up with the leaves intact and come back in a week, you're going to find that they have mostly just all wilted away. Okay, so that's what I'm left with, and the pot I'm going to use to pot this one up in is this. So I'm just using all-purpose compost, and we'll put a bit at the base of the pot to start with, and then try to maneuver this with all its feisty roots into the pot. Now I'm actually going to have to cut the tips of some of the roots, but trying to maintain as much of the small hairy ones as possible, because they're the feeder roots. And let's do that there. Let's give it a try now. Okay, so it fits in the pot, and I'm just going to put compost in and around it. And I don't use anything special for these plants. They seem to be unfussy as regards soil. Give it a good shake to make sure that the soil gets at the back of the root ball. And then after I water this in, I'll top it up with some more soil as needs be. Okay, so that's that for the time being. Okay, let's get another one. Now, this one is an excellent candidate because it's actually come out with a root ball, which is just wonderful. So what we're going to do to start with is remove excess leaves. We'll leave that one there and find a pot to put it in. Okay, this pot is probably fine. I'm going to just manoeuvre it in there and backfill with compost. Firming down as I go. Now there's a feel to firming things down. You want to firm them down so that they're sturdy enough in the pot, yet you don't want it to be, I mean, you know, you don't want it to be like concrete. So you just need to get the feel of it over time. There's that one. Now we have another specimen which has 3 roots, no small feeder roots, well, tiny little remnants of ones. So we're going to give it a try and pot it up. Get rid of most of the leaves and find a pot. This one is purple. And I try and just curl that root around there as we manhandle it into position. Okay, that's 3 Tetrapanax. Now remember this one, one very small plant with one very, excuse me, with one very long runner that attached it to the parent plant. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to try and bend that down around and pot it up and see if it will do for me. I suppose I should take off some of the leaves and curl that one round like a snake. And the fact that it's been sitting in water for a while is also going to help make it pliable and not break when you try and curl it round. So that's that. Now what I find with Tetrapanax, generally speaking, is that, you know, a number of them just don't take, which is handy enough. I mean, it's handy enough that the plant so readily provides runners. Okay, that's that one. And we'll do one more, I guess. We have a few more here. And we've only 2 left. So we'll take the bigger one. Remove the leaves. What I'll do is I'll leave that one leaf there, but I'll just cut it in half, and this is just to reduce the transpiration that will happen vis-a-vis the leaf. I know it doesn't look good, but that isn't important. Okay, there's a weed. In we go to this pot here. Now you mustn't pot in pots that are too big, and as you can see I'm letting the root ball dictate the size of the pot. Right, so that's that one, and then we have our final one. Now I've no idea can this take or not, because it's such a tiny little piece of root, and I think it probably won't, but we're going to pot it up anyway. And we'll remove the leaves. And actually I don't have a pot that's small enough here, so we'll just pause for a minute and I'll go and find another pot that's small. And here we are with the pot, and I'm taking bets now as to whether this one will will survive or not. I think it won't, but we will see. Okay, so that's good. Now the next step is to water these in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the greenhouse and protect them over winter, and hopefully by spring they'll have filled the pots with nice roots and be in a position to plant them out in the garden. Okay, time for some water. And here we are with the bucket. This is the bucket that I used to soak these plants in, and I'm going to just water them in using the same water. Now I need to make sure that these are adequately hydrated through the winter. By the way, sorry about the noise in the background. My neighbour is doing mechanics type stuff. And here we have a nice little slug which we'll take out. Okay, and there we go. And now I'll just top up with a bit of compost as necessary. Right, there we go. And that brings me to the end of the video on potting up Tetrapanax rex seedlings. And if you have a plant in your garden, or perhaps you've been given some seedlings, then you know what to do. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.